good morning. It's bang on 5 a.m. on Tuesday the 14th of May. I'm just setting off on the Brevet Cymru 500 kilometre DIY audax. I did a pre-ride video explaining the route, so I'll put a link to that in the description below this, but what's blowing me away at the moment is it's already light. There's not even street lights on. And that's Salisbury Hill over there, made famous by the Peter Gabriel song. You can see the red sky where the sun's about to rise. I'm just riding up to the Severn Bridge and my first stop is going to be at Monmouth for breakfast. A little bit about the food I carry. That's my snack bag there. I did a little bit of filming yesterday to explain what's in that. So this would be a typical selection of food I eat on the go. So this is a mix of slow release carbohydrate, fast release carbohydrates and sugars, some breads, some energy boosts, and I'll sometimes carry a malt loaf as well. It depends on the ride and what's in the larder at home. So first of all, fig rolls. They're quite easy to just pull out the snack bag on the road and just pop them in your mouth, probably 2 an hour, 3 an hour. Then there's some mini pita breads. Got a bag of Haribos. I'll just keep that in my saddlebag, but keep a small food bag topped up with those on the road. And then Rice Krispie marshmallow squares. I'll start off with 2 bottles of squash from home. Then when I top them up with water on the road, I'll keep 1 bottle full of water, and the other one I've got concentrated orange squash by Robinson's there. So 1 squash, 1 water. And here's a pack of resealable food bags I use. So there's a typical mix of what I put into my snack bag on the top tube. I've fed in about half a dozen fig rolls and a handful of Haribos, so you've got slow release and fast release energy there. So I'll go ahead and put that in my top tube bag. So there you go, they're in situ on the top tube of my bag, ever so easy to access on the move. So the remainder of that bag of Haribos plus a second bag of fig rolls I'll keep in my saddlebag to top up the snack bag on my top tube. I may or may not use them on this ride. If not, they'll get used the next ride. Next up are these Rice Krispies marshmallow squares. It's basically just like sticky rice cake. So I'll keep 3 of those in my saddlebags. So in the morning, just before I leave, I'll open that so it's easier to access on the move, and then I'll just wedge that down the side. So at any one time I've got rice cake, fig rolls and Haribos on the move. So next up are the pitas. I've just bought this new packet of 12 today. I've taken 3 out, which I'm going to prepare for tomorrow morning. And these ones I'm going to put in the freezer. And they'll be frozen for another occasion. So with the pitas, I've just sliced them along the top, and I'm going to load them with a bit of margarine and some smooth peanut butter for a bit of protein on the road. Fine smooth is quite edible on a ride. Crunchy peanut butter doesn't go down very well at all. So there's 3 of my mini pitas cut in half, filled with margarine and peanut butter. They really do make mouth-size refreshing snacks. So I'll tend to eat these later in the day rather than earlier in the morning. And the reason is I think most long distance cyclists will recognise that stage in the ride where you start to crave more savoury food rather than the sweet sugary hits. So again, I'll put those in a food bag. They'll be in my saddlebag. As my food bag on the top tubes gets a little bit depleted, I'll start adding some of those in there. These are a bit messy obviously, so you need to take more care of those. So that's those all wrapped up, ready to go in the saddlebag. So I guess my habits are, I don't get obsessive about food. I tend to try and eat before I get hungry. I try and drink before I get thirsty. And I do go with cravings. If I get a craving for sweet stuff, I'll go with it. If I get a craving for cheese, I'll go with that. And as I said, normally get the craving for peanut butter later in the day. Certainly wouldn't want those at 5 a.m. in the morning. So that gives you an idea of how I can stay fueled on the road. It's all got to be easily digestible, high in energy, got to meet all my tastes for different times of the day. And it's all tried and tested. I've experimented over the years, and this is just a typical example of what really works for me. So that was a little bit about what I eat on the road, and this is what I eat at breakfast control. And now it's Subway and it's just gone 8:30 in the morning. So black coffee, 12-inch bacon and cheese and 3 cookies. So normally on the calendar Brevet Cymru, which is quite early in May, the overriding memory of the first half is normally bluebells in the woods, but this time, just a few weeks later, it's wild garlic everywhere. There's carpets of it all around, and the smell is absolutely fantastic. What a difference just a few weeks can make. Just topped up with fluids in Hay and Wise, so one of my water bottles now, I've got a litre of orange squash and a litre of water. It's going very quickly today because the weather's really warm now. Well, it's now midday and it's very warm, and I'm just running along a few miles north of the Brecon Beacons. I saw those a few weeks back on my first 400 of this year, and the peaks were still covered in some late snow. What a difference. So tonight, on the other side of the Brecon Beacons, about 20 miles further south, be the A40, my night ride. It's quite magical going along there and just seeing the dark outline of those hills. It's like some sort of serpent at night time. Starting to see some lovely patches of bluebells here. This road I'm on now is an old railway that's been converted into tarmac. We're going to follow this along for a few miles. There's signs everywhere. It's 1:30 now. I've just stopped at Bill's Wells. It's lovely and sunny. Just stopping to have a sandwich and a soft drink. So the next leg across to Llandovery is quite tough actually. It's quite a long gradual climb up to Llandovery Wells, which is the smallest town in Britain. Then quite a fast drop down to Llandovery. And after Llandovery it really does start to get hilly. I'm really looking forward to it.